Hey there everybody, this is Ryu from Streets. Street Fighter 6 has been out for a couple weeks now, and I really like it. The gameplay shakeups are great, the new characters are a lot of fun, and the single player RPG mode sets a new bar for what a fighting game solo experience should be. But you're here to hear about modern controls. I mean, I may as well follow up on my previous video. I don't make only fighting game content, but when there's a hot new one to talk about, let's talk about it. Overall, I like the new modern control mode, but it's not going to be all over the competitive scene. I said last video that if it was even half as good as Granblue's assisted moves, I'd love it, and yeah, it's about half as good. I'm no pro player, I can't judge modern controls at Diamond rank, but I can say that modern is kinda awkward on a fight stick. Classic controls are designed around arcade sticks. You already know what the layout is, but for visuals, here it is. There's the 3 punches across the top buttons and 3 kicks across the bottom. Light plus light is grab, medium plus medium is drive parry, heavy plus heavy is drive impact. And then you have the 2 extra buttons on the side for whatever you really want them to be. Macros, whatever. I don't use them in Classic. Modern, on the other hand, seems more designed for controllers. Any control scheme where you hold a button as a modifier works a lot better with a trigger to hold. Here's how I do modern on stick. It's modified a bit from default, but I have light, medium, heavy across the top, special here under my thumb, parry and drive impact where medium kick and heavy kick would be, lining them up with where the command would be in Classic. What isn't the same as Classic is grab, which is light plus medium, which is now on the top here, and sometimes that really screws me up going between the 2 control schemes. If you leave modern controls at default, it's still the leftmost 2 buttons, same as Classic. But what's really awkward is the assist modifier. I have it over here on my pinky finger, so to do an overdrive special I'm bridging across all the buttons from thumb to pinky. You probably shouldn't copy my setup unless you have big hands or on a smaller controller. Well, let's talk about characters now for modern. In the new control scheme there are, in my opinion, 3 types of characters. The significant losers, the obligate motioner, and the pretty good. I also just want to give a shout out here to the YouTube channel The Den of Sin. They've been making breakdowns of Street Fighter 6 mechanics and how each character changes in modern controls. If you want to go more in depth about any of that, they're a good resource to check out. Anyway, let's get into the significant losses. Marisa. This is about Marisa. I've been playing Marisa most since launch because big beefy buttons that can blow up drive impacts are fun. But I have not been playing her with modern controls. Modern Marisa is not bad. Far from it, really. But she has a lot of moves, and that doesn't translate well to fewer buttons. Look at how many unique normal moves she has in her command list. It's impressive that Modern keeps as many as it does, and mostly maintains their functionality. Unfortunately, in Modern there's no way to use one of her special moves entirely, her stepping forward kick. If she just never had the move in the first place, I don't think she'd feel incomplete, but she does have it in Classic, and I really like using it. Many characters partially lose some moves, but not being able to do it at all is a big loss. Let's compare it to Chun-Li. In the beta, Chun could not enter her stance in modern controls. This was changed in the full game to be a quarter circle back. You can't do it with the special button, but you can still enter stance. I would have liked if assist plus buttons out of stance gave her all 6 possible moves from stance instead of being limited to only half of her stance moves, but it's better than none. But to get stance into her modern moveset, Chun lost the manual input for her overhead flip kick. She can now do only one version of it with down special. It's far from perfect, but she at least has some version of every move. You could try to jury-rig something from Marisa with the special button covering some moves and motions covering others, like a different character we'll discuss in a minute, but even then it wouldn't work very well for Marisa. The problem with Marisa is that she already has other forward motion moves taking up all the available spots in the motions, and on the special button. She just really has no room to actually fit all of her moves. The only way you can actually see her kick special in Modern is as part of her heavy auto combo. And I don't even have a good solution on how you'd actually fit an additional special into her moveset. So again, Modern Marisa, not unplayable, but it really feels bad that she loses an entire move. The obligate motioner. Some animals are obligate carnivores rather than omnivores. They have to consume meat for the required nutrients. In Street Fighter 6, some characters were simply not designed for modern inputs. Their gameplay becomes impossible with just the special button. The best example of this, I think, is JP. He has strong zoning tools.
Shadow Wizard Money Gang. We love casting spells. This song is sponsored by the Shadow Government.
Quite importantly, many of his zoning tools have 3 distinct variants. You just cannot replicate that with a single special button, unless you were to do something like special plus button strength like Granblue Fantasy Versus does. If you play JP in Modern, you're still going to be using motion inputs to do his specials, because you have to aim them. Heck, even the Overdrive versions have different positions depending on the combination of 2 buttons you use. However, JP is about as close to perfect in Modern as he could be given these limitations. His reversal is on forward special, his command grab is on back special. Neither of those moves have variations for strength. His quarter circle punch slash is neutral special. You only get one of the 3 versions of that, but that does not matter nearly as much as not having all his projectiles. Now down plus special is just the medium version of spikes, but whatever. How do you do his main zoning if it's not on the special button? Capcom apparently conceded that it was really stupid and unworkable, just like I said earlier, and you just have to do quarter circle forward and back for projectiles and portals, and down-down inputs for the different versions of spikes. JP has obligate motion inputs. What are you even gaining from Modern controls by playing him at this point? Auto combos and one-button supers. I would not be surprised by a really good Modern JP player emerging. He feels barely changed at all in Modern. Not fundamentally changing a character may be the goal of an alternate control scheme, and I like the implementation for him specifically. However, he will be very alienating for some players who really appreciate Modern controls due to physical limitations or just wanting to play at a really casual level. But from my perspective of looking at Modern controls from a perspective of competitive viability, he's basically perfect. Now let's look at a character that fully works with, and possibly even gains something from Modern mode. The very funny and pretty good big man, Zangief. Not everyone is bad in Modern. You may remember from other simple mode games that grapplers are very funny and generally fare pretty well with simplified controls. Zangief is one such grappler.
Zangief wins!
Zangief? We've been saying a lot of these names wrong for decades, really. Unlike other characters I've discussed, Zangief loses basically nothing in Modern mode. He doesn't even use all the directions on the special button. He has a very specific set of tools. He will find you and he will grab you. Now, it remains to be seen if Zangief is actually any good in this game, especially with characters like Manon, who's a real evolution of the obnoxious command grab character, but he is very easy to play at a competent level in Modern controls. Modern Manon is her own beast and is a lot scarier than Gief if you ask me, but I really haven't played her long enough to give a good review of her yet. And she also falls into the loses some specials that might be useful for her camp. Not her grabs though, she has all those. Now on Zangief, you do lose some small things, at least with the special button. His one button 360 is not the light version, it's the heavy version, so it does the most damage but it doesn't have the most range. If you want maximum range on his grab, you'll have to do it manually. And like everyone in Modern, he loses a few normal buttons. The most notable of these is probably his grounded dropkick. His game plan is just so centralized that he really only needs a couple good pokes for neutral. He's not about long combos. Some people will still do long combos with him anyway, I'm sure. But when all but one special is a grab, you don't really have a whole lot to work with to do long combos. Okay, all but 2 specials. He also has the silly kick parry, which I'm sure someone will find a use for at some point. But it's no cool neutral tool like Green Hand, and it's certainly not going to feature in combos as it's a parry. Overall, I don't think Modern controls are going to be all that game defining. I hope someone will prove my assessment wrong and place high at a major with Modern controls. Hopefully just by showing how skilled they are and not abusing some bizarre option select that I'm almost confident some DLC character will end up getting with Modern controls because someone didn't think something through very well. There's probably people out there already winning local tournaments with Modern controls. If you know of any, make a comment about it, I want to see that. Just since writing and starting to record this video and actually finalizing it, I've actually seen a little bit of very grimy stuff, or, depending on your perspective, very cool stuff with Modern mode. Taquito has been showing off how good Modern Luke can be. I'm not sold on instant DP being a game changer, but when you have a super like Luke's level 1, yeah, that can be real good to be able to just instantly do. I don't think I'll have much else to say about Street Fighter 6 for a while, as I'm definitely not going to end up being a top-level competitor in this game or anything, but I might find something weird or surprising I want to talk about. Maybe I'll see what kind of really stupid stuff the custom avatar character can get up to. Until then, if you're new to my channel, I hope you enjoy some of my other videos. Street Fighter 6 has pushed some other things I had half finished to the back burner. I need to finish those soon, but I do intend to make some more fighting game videos at the least. For instance, what do you think is objectively the worst fighting game ever made? I recently found a contender for that crown. Thanks for watching. Bye.